Okay, hello everybody, this is going to be an achieve hunt of the game Murder Diaries 2, which is out today on the 22nd of October 2021. It has been published and developed by XSX Games, who were kind enough to provide me a code for this game for the purposes of this video. So thank you everybody for coming here. Thank you XSX Games for providing me a code. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, let's start the clock. So it looks like we are using the exact same areas as Murder Diaries 1, or if we're not, they are very similar because they seem very familiar to me. I noticed the fan, I remember that being there.
I hope God forgives me for what I've done, because I get the feeling I'll be meeting him soon.
Yeah, there was a giant problem with the spawn distance, or see, we just saw the serial or whatever it is pop up. Yeah, we're actually seeing it all pop up as we get to it. There was a big problem with this in the Murder Diaries 1, and it's like, guys, come on. If you look at it, the textures are pretty bad. I mean, they're not even fully loaded in. Again, look, we're still seeing stuff spawn in right in front of us. It shouldn't be like that. And the textures are low quality. The fact that we're getting things spawned in right in front of us is it's not good. And look, we're visibly seeing it all spawn in with, by the way, barely loaded textures, and this is the first level. I don't like criticising straight away, but these issues were in the first one.
It's been almost half a year since I've taken my first life.
It's like none of the textures have an HD texture. It's literally
I can remember it all, as if it were yesterday.
I mean, everything here, or nearly everything, doesn't seem to have a high quality texture.
The days I spent stalking my victim, the sleepless nights I spent awake making plans for the day I killed him, and most of all, the ecstasy I felt when I brought all my hard work to fruition.
What was with that fan just warping there?
Executing my carefully premeditated plan to kill the man who took my father from me was the most satisfying thing I've ever experienced.
Obviously, this is a follow-on from Murder Diaries 1, clearly. You're talking about the same guy, so...
My intention was to kill only him. After that, the vengeance I'd sought for so long would be fulfilled.
So I don't like to criticise, I don't.
But mere days after I did the deed, I felt an itch in the back of my brain, a craving for more. I'd spent so much time planning for that murder every day that when it was all over, I missed it.
I mean, you just saw a massive chunk, like the stairs loading in, for God's sake.
Like a drug addict craving a fix, I wanted to feel what I felt as I plotted my crime again.
We should, especially when the main character, the glow thing that you are, I'm not exactly sure what it is you're supposed to be, is moving so slowly. There's no excuse to be seeing stuff spawn in front of you.
At first, I thought I just
to
needed
me,
something to occupy my
that
newly found free
indicates
time.
an issue that the engine can't keep up. That's what that tells me. Look, see, we just saw that big chair thing spawn in right in front of us.
I took up several hobbies, but none of them compared to the adrenaline I felt rushing through my veins on the nights I spent designing my plans, or the pure
Look,
euphoria
we've got
of putting
stuff
into
here
action.
I've just crashed into an invisible table. Look, we've literally got stuff that isn't spawning there. See? It's just stuff hovering. I'm sorry, but game. Blocks. I mean, look, we've got candlesticks that's just literally hovering there. I mean, what am I supposed to think? I can't just ignore that.
It was maddening. From that point on, I knew that the thrill of killing would be something I could no longer live without. Today is my first day as a detective, and I'm already being assigned to a serial killer case.
I mean, you have to investigate yourself.
I don't know if I should be jumping for joy at the chance of solving a major case, or shitting myself under the pressure everyone's putting on me.
Oh, there it is. I do really, really wish there was a way to speed up.
All the detectives dream of solving a case like this at least once to leave their mark on the force before retiring. But most of the time, the ones who do get to solve a serial killer case will already have had decades of experience as a detective by the time they're given the opportunity. Then there's me, Detective Inspector Cassidy Brown, fresh off his promotion from being a beat cop, getting saddled with a serial killer
His or
case
her.
after an
Fresh
uneventful
off
career
her
filled with
promotion.
vehicle violations
Fresh off-
and the
you said
occasional
his.
domestic violence call.
So you've now got a guy narrating a woman. Okay. Sure. Don't question it, Dwaggy. Just play. How the hell did I miss that?
That's not to say I've had a cushy time as a police officer, though.
No, you could have just... Cassidy could also be a boy's name. You know, why not just say him instead of her? It just sounds odd when you've got a male narrating from the perspective of a female.
There are times when I've genuinely feared for my life before.
Can't help but notice that to protect and to serve banner does actually have a double space between protect and the two words protect and. I'm just picking up everything, can't I, today?
Like that time I was huddled under a garbage bin for cover in the middle of a gang war with bullets whizzing past my head.
Yeah, I doubt that happened, honey.
One of the reasons why I was promoted was because of that incident. I was one of the first responders to the scene, and the only one to survive the whole thing. My coworker joked that I probably survived because I was so short and small, and that the gang members couldn't find me in the clusterfuck. I think he may be right.
Yeah, we're definitely copying and reusing the old areas, environments, whatever you want to call them, from Murder Diaries 1. Which is disappointing.
It didn't take long for me to start planning my second murder. Only a couple months had passed since my first murder, and I was brimming with confidence at that point for having not been immediately caught.
I will say that the music in this game,
The planning took
Chef's
much
kiss,
less time than before.
really nice. Literally, chef's kiss. Wow. Actually, if I do say anything, the music is probably the
I
best
practically
quality of
memorized
this
every
game.
nook and cranny of the neighborhood by the end of my first murder plan. All I needed to do was study my desired target over a long period of time, with a mix of online stalking their social media and actual stalking them in their day-to-day life. I didn't just pick some random person to be my victim, however. There would be neither justice nor satisfaction in that for me. I wanted to kill someone who I genuinely thought deserved the violence I would unleash upon them.
Have you tried Donald Trump?
Otherwise, I'd be no different from the brutish thugs that fill the streets of my neighborhood.
Mitch McConnell would be a good Good shout, Ted Cruz.
I was better than
Same.
scum like them. Not a hot-headed ruffian who hurt those around them for no reason, but a dispenser of punishment that had been eluded for too long. Luckily for me, there was no shortage of people in desperate need of a knife in their throat where I live. The hard part was picking which one I could realistically get away with killing using my meager resources. After plenty of research on all my possible victims and lightly stalking all of them to gauge how hard they'd be to take out in a confrontation, I finally found the perfect target.
Probably gonna have the cafe level next. I'll start off if it is the cafe level. Nope, looks to be the detective one. Again.
Richard Dawson, the owner of a seedy but popular nightclub at the edge of the neighborhood, is believed to be the first victim of my serial killer.
Again, why
His
is a
chopped-up body
male?
was found floating in the sewers.
Why is a male narrating a female? I don't understand this.
He might have gone undiscovered, had someone living in the apartment not had some problems with their pipes, which led to people searching the sewers for structural integrity. It was pure coincidence that the sewer worker nearly had a heart attack when he saw a severed human head severed on the shit and piss-infested water. Mr. Dawson had a clean record, and despite his less than reputable business, he never committed any crimes in the eyes of the law. On paper, he might seem like just an average business owner trying to make some money with his nightclub.
Okay, where's the next one? Oh, there it is, beyond the boxes. Which means I'm probably going to end up crashing here.
Nobody, not even the neighboring businesses,
Oh, got
ever
away
made
with
any
it.
complaints about him, and all his admittedly shady friends had nothing but praise to say about him. His apartment, although a bit posher than what you'd expect from the owner of a single nightclub, gave us no useful insight on what kind of person he could have been.
Okay, I'm going to need to turn around for this one.
The police had significant trouble trying to
Balls.
determine a motive for the murder at first.
Oh, the door's open now. No, the door is completely despawned.
That was until we decided to thoroughly search the nightclub he owned. Hidden away neatly from all the regular patrons of the nightclub were several luxurious VIP rooms for their most profitable customers. The rooms themselves looked pretty illegal, but were ultimately nothing special. A bed, a couple of sofas, and some colored lights to get the clients in the mood. Prostitution was already a crime, so we knew right away that Mr. Dawson clearly wasn't as clean-cut as his papers made him out to be. What we weren't prepared for was the truth of how truly disgusting that man was when we found the basement near the VIP rooms.
Oh, look, bunnies. Okay, so judging by a playground, let me guess, underage.
I didn't think I'd ever have as much satisfaction killing someone at the time I killed my father's
You're
murderer.
the murderer now.
Richard Dawson proved me wrong. If anyone in my entire neighborhood deserved to die, it was him and the sick bastards who sought his services.
Oh, there it is, behind the things. Hello, Darth. Yeah, it's basically using pretty much
To be honest,
all the same
he was
environments.
pretty low on my list of possible
But there is a
victims, of course.
detective in this
By
one,
now.
which
I mean,
kind
he
of
wasn't
is
on
kind of
it
like
at all.
investigating, but the detective is being narrated by a man, yet the detective is female. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I am, I believe they have the same narrator for the murderer and the detective, which boggles the mind. In one of the texts as well, the narrator says him in regards to the detective, where the subtitles say her. Also, the music in the I've said already, Darth, the music in the game is top notch. But
I was stalking someone else who I learned was one of the most
there's a
prized
lot
customers.
of flaws. Is that it up there? Yes, it is. Why is the character going so bloody slowly? No, I don't. Sorry, Darth.
His name was Tony Holt, a violent debt collector and enforcer for one of the local gangs. He was known for not shying away from sexual assault if a debtor or someone forced into his gang's protection racket didn't have the money he was sent to collect. That would be bad enough, but the worst part was that he never touched the people themselves in that way. Instead, he would direct his advances to their children. Sometimes he even did it when he already got paid. I have no idea why his gangmates put up with him. Even scum tended to have standards.
Where the hell is the next one? Oh, there it is, above one of the bunnies.
There's a reason why child molesters like him don't last long in prison.
Okay, where's the next one? Am I completely blind? I'm not seeing the next one. Oh, there it is, hidden behind the bloody climbing frame.
Apparently that scant amount of honor among thieves did not apply when the offender was related to the gang's boss like Tony was.
Why does the freaking player character glow orb bat thing fly so slowly? It's just frustrating. Because you're literally just waiting.
He was a towering
there.
behemoth of a man too. So I'm sure that fear of physical retaliation had something to do with why his gangmates never objected to his actions. I stalked him while thinking of 1,000 ways for someone of my average at best build to kill him without resorting to a gun that would draw too much attention.
Oh, there it is, right in front of his face. Which means you're probably going to have to wait a whole minute till we get there. Let's time it. Right, I'm starting at 6 seconds. now at 30 seconds and I'm still not there because you can't increase the bloody speed. Okay,
That was when I
about
discovered the
35
nightclub he
seconds to go
frequented
from there
and
from
found
the
out
last
the dark
one.
secret hidden
That's
within through no
a waste
small
of
amount
time.
of effort.
That's literally a waste of time. Let us speed up, for God's sake. Or like, allow us to speed up once the narrator has stopped speaking. Like for the one that he's collected previously. Like, allow us to double the speed at least. Like if it's talking, fine. Don't. But Jesus Christ. It can't be that hard to implement an allowance to let us
Dawson's
speed up.
nightclub had a basement entrance near the VIP rooms masked as a staff-only dressing room.
I said I don't like to criticise, but there's things here that are just so basic. I mean, look at the
But when
texture
we
of
opened
this
the
floor,
door,
for God's sake.
instead of tables filled with makeup in front of mirrors, we saw a set of metal stairs which led down into a pitch-black darkness illuminated only by a single dingy light bulb.
No, just... Seriously, textures, would it really hurt? Right, some textures
It was
load,
like a scene straight out of a horror movie.
barely, but then you've got this texture on the floor, which is barely a texture at all. And like, you're completely reusing environments that you used in the previous game.
As we
Would
descended,
it-
the stench of human waste and blood made us gag as it seeped into our nostrils. I think one of the rookies even vomited from the smell. We shone our flashlights all across the basement once we reached the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, wait, something in the... You see what I mean, though? We get closer shit and it just despawns. And like, all the textures are... I hate to say it, but... I think they're broken. I can't understand why you would make the game actually look like this. It's very, very clear to me that...
All around us were empty cells made to fit dozens of people, or thrice that size if the jailer didn't care about their well-being like they clearly
that's a
didn't.
solid object, even though it's fucking clear that we'd be able to fly past it. Or through it, I should say. That's bad game design.
Inside the cells were remnants of human life.
Okay, so here's the thing, EpiXR Games, alright? Your engine is no longer fit for purpose. Upgrade it, fix it.
Ragged
Your
blankets
games
on the
will
floor,
thank you.
blood on the walls and floors, and buckets filled to the brim with things that would be better off left unmentioned. We were looking at the housing area for victims of human trafficking.
Literally, your games would thank you for an updated engine. They really, really would.
There were a couple rooms adjacent to the housing area. One was a large shower room with many shower heads for multiple people to use at the same time.
Again, I've got no problem with the quality of the music or the narrator, even though the narrator is male and should be female by the detective, as we've already established. But oops. God's sake, camera, turn around. Another thing that is absolutely infuriating, and I've said it in every single EPXR game, and they don't seem to pay attention, is that you don't need all 3 movementation buttons, i.e. the D-pad, the left stick, and the right stick. You don't need them all to turn, like to move the character. Let us rotate the camera so we can look around, but you don't let us
Another
do
one
that,
was a dressing
and
room
it's
stocked full with makeup and
monumentally
risque outfits
frustrating.
and costumes.
It really is. Like, the stories you're telling, they're fine.
They were presumably
For
there
God's
for women
sake,
kept
think
in
about
cells to wash up and make themselves presentable
making it
before being
easier
sent to
for
the
your
customers
player
in
to
the
just
VIP room
look.
above. I felt sick to my stomach when I realized that most of the revealing outfits in the dressing room were made to fit children.
What's the bet as I fly past these tables that things are probably going to spawn on them? No, I'm surprised.
I first noticed how shady Richard Dawson was when I saw a truck pull into the back of his nightclub late one night when the patrons had all left. I'd stayed behind hoping to sneak into the nightclub after dark with hopes of memorizing its layout in case I had to resort to spiking Holtz to kill him later on.
I don't understand why you don't give us an option to just use the right stick as a rotator so we can just look around without
I probably could have
adjusting
attended
the
during its opening
trajectory
hours, but I
of
wanted to
the
avoid letting
player
myself be
character.
seen in any of my potential murder scenes if it can be helped.
Yeah, in situations like this where we see where we're going, we're flying to it, and it's just so goddamn slow. Why can we not press A or something to be able to speed up, you know? It's literally a waste of time. And why would an Indian restaurant be called Yoshi? That does not make sense at all.
I watched from a distance as I saw girls, most of them no older than 13, being led like cattle into the back of the nightclub by men in masks.
This dude's an arsehole, he could have called the police. Just saying.
The man directing it all was Richard Dawson, with an apathetic look on his face the entire time.
So I'm expecting after this one it's going to turn to the left, and it looks like we might go around and see that red dude that we just saw. Possibly. Or maybe not, it looks to be a dead end. So it looks like I'll probably be rotating back around to that red guy.
It was at that moment that I decided to change my target.
Anything else here? We can't. No, we can fly it. That looks dead. it's definitely not over there.
Tony Holt could wait. He might be the offender of one of the most heinous crimes a person could commit, but Richard Dawson was the man who made it possible for people like him to get away with it. That was also when I made my mistake.
Yeah, there it is.
I got emotional, though no one could really blame me. My little sister, Natalie, was the same age as many of those girls.
Bastards. Oh, for fuck's sake, get the bloody thing. See, this is why you need a freaking
The thought of
turn
her
camera.
possibly falling prey to a
Not a
despicable
freaking
creature like
you
that
don't
for
need
the sake of
three
lining his
different
pockets made my blood
selections
boil.
to rotate where you're going. You don't. It's dumb.
That, and my overconfidence from getting away with murder for the first time spurred me to action far too soon.
It was 65, wasn't it? Yes.
I have no idea how the sick bastard managed to get away with whoring out little girls for so long, but it made everybody in the police station feel ashamed for allowing it to happen under their noses. I hate to say it, but if it wasn't for that murderer, we might have never discovered his wrongdoings.
Ah, there it is.
At that point, we didn't know that Dawson's death was only the first in what would become a series of similar murders, so solving his case was put immediately on the back burner in favor of trying to find the missing girls. We all sort of assumed that it was a one-off instance of vigilante justice enacted by a relative of one of his victims who somehow found out about his actions. There was a silent, collective understanding at the station that we should let it slide just this once. Hell, as far as any of us were concerned, Dawson's killer was a bloody saint for ridding the world of scum like him.
Okay, so where's the next one then? Oh, there it is. I swear that wasn't there a minute ago.
We were all willing to look the other way under the circumstances, myself included. Little did we know that wouldn't be the only time we'd get to see his work.
Oh, there it is.
Long before the thought that we were dealing with a serial killer even entered our mind, we were busy running around the city like headless chickens trying to find the girls who used to be kept in the nightclub basement. The crime lab came up with several dozen DNA samples from the cells which had us occupied trying to match the people for a long time. so much that we almost didn't notice the killer's second murder.
And we're back in the... Looks like we're back in the flat cabin, whatever it is, again. Oh no, perhaps not. No, it is a different area. My apologies.
The same night I discovered his sin, I stabbed Richard Dawson in the back on his way home. I learned from my prior experience and made sure to kill him cleanly in one thrust to the back of the neck with a bootleg combat knife I used to carry around for protection. I made sure to point the tip of the blade upwards in order to quickly sever the body's connection to the brain.
So I'm guessing I have to come back here. This is one grotty ass bastard, I'll tell you that. Oh, there's an arm. Okay then. Okay, where's the third thing? Oh, sorry, the fourth thing. Did I completely miss it now? I just didn't see it. Okay. Let's try again. So it was round here that we got number 3. Okay, let's go right to the end and see if I missed something. Ah, there's a door. I bet it's in there. I didn't see that door. Yeah, there it is. Pissing awful room, I'm not gonna lie. So let's get that. Crash into something so we go back.
He felt like a sack of potatoes before me, and I was suddenly saddled with the responsibility of figuring out a way to hide his body.
Screw me then.
I'll admit, I panicked. I dragged him to a nearby public toilet and took some time to think in a nearby alleyway.
Come on, it's right there for fuck's sake. There we go.
I seriously considered just leaving him there and hope that no one connects me to it, but ultimately decided otherwise.
That'll explain why the arm is there then.
I wore gloves so my fingerprints wouldn't be found on him, and I even wore a beanie to not let my hair get on his body. But I still preferred if the evidence on my crime wasn't just lying around in a place anyone could find themselves in. In the end, I ended up dismantling the body by the joints and dumping it into a nearby sewer I remembered was there, thanks to my encyclopedic memory of the neighborhood. It wasn't easy severing his body like that, but I managed. All those hours I spent studying weaknesses in the human body really helped me find the places to cut in order to sever the limbs and head. It ended up a pretty sloppy job, but it made the body small enough for me to fit it all past the manhole and into the putrid flowing water before.
My eye won't stop itching, damn it. Okay, nothing in this one. Okay, wonderful, that's brought me back here. Okay. Okay, so where's the next thing then? Oh, it's under the bed. I did not see that there.
After that, I pocketed my black blood-stained jacket to burn at home and washed all the blood from the public restroom I dismembered my victim in.
So now there's got to be something in the padded room, right? There we go.
I could not sleep at all that night, not because I felt guilty, but because I feared I would be found out.
Barbecue, anyone?
However, I can't deny that the pleasure of such a spontaneous murder was more than anything I could have imagined. Just as the dust settled on the case of Richard Dawson, with many children returned to their parents after months or even years of separation, another murder was discovered. This time, the victim had been killed in his own home.
It's upstairs. Okay, let's check upstairs. This track that's playing at the moment actually reminds me of the Skyland area from, I think it was called Skyland, from Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. It's reminding me of that. I'm not sure why. It might just be because the quarry called singing or something, but I can't even see it. Did I miss it downstairs? I must have missed it somewhere. You crap. Okay, I've obviously missed it somewhere. See, that's the problem as well. You can't reverse. You can't speed up. You can't... Yeah, it's under the bloody table. You can't speed up. You can't... So if you miss something, it takes what feels like an entire age to find...
His name was Tony Holt, a known gang member and frequent patron of Richard Dawson's nightclub.
Oh, where the next one is. Maybe if you could have like some sort of unit of direction. It doesn't tell you where it is. It just shows below like the 317 or 417 at the top right how close you are in meters or centimeters or whatever unit you want to bloody use to the next one. So you're not saying to anybody where it is. You're just saying how far away from it you are. So kind of like an inverse compass, basically. So if that number's going up, you know you're going in the wrong direction. You know, you make it slow enough. You know.
He was an enormous man, so at first we thought he must have been held down there by several people, possibly the parents of his sexual assault victims.
Cold cheddar, sorry.
However, that theory was dashed when we found no sign of a struggle in his home. Tony Holt was notable for his violent temperament. There's no way he'd let himself get tied up and his man had cut off without a fight. Then the lab reports of his blood came. His veins were chock full of rohypnol, better known by most people as rupees. We found a whole box of the stuff in his kitchen cupboard. It was probably the first time he took them instead of being the one to hand them out. The killer must have poisoned him with his own date rape drug in order to weaken him enough to easily kill him despite his size and strength. The back window of his apartment showed traces of being tampered with, so it was theorized that the killer must have gotten in through there. As for how he managed to get Tony to ingest the roofies in the first place, autopsy found a substantial amount of vodka inside his stomach, which could have easily masked the taste of the roofies. A bottle of vodka was found in the trash can of the apartment, and we were able to confirm our suspicions. The killer had broken into the apartment, poisoned the vodka with the victim's own drugs, and waited for him to drink it before moving in for the kill. It was about as premeditated as a murder could get, though the killer didn't bother to even try to hide the body. It was almost as if he wanted his work to be seen. Once Dawson was taken care of, I turned my attention back to Tony Holt.
Where's the next one? I can't have missed it already, surely. I looked around that entire room. Under the bed, maybe? I didn't check that, did I? Oops. That was not there. That was not there. I would have seen that when I looked at it. That was not there at all, ever. And also, that's not solid. I should have been able to fucking fly through that. Fuck's sake, game. There is clearly a gap at the bottom.
I held off making my move for a bit first.
See, it's solid. There's clearly a gap which we should be able to fly through. If you're going to make it so we can fly through things, then make sure that the things that are supposed to be solid and the stuff that aren't supposed to be solid aren't. I mean, look, you've got furniture spawning right in front of me here. First we saw that one, then that one just there.
There had been a lot of commotion in the city since I killed Dawson. I knew that he'd be exposed after I killed him. It was only a matter of time before the police searched his basement for clues. What I didn't expect was the positive reception I'd received from his death. Most of the children who had been held captive by Dawson were able to return to their families after his death, destroyed any sense of coordination between his lackeys. A lot of terrible people were put behind bars in the aftermath of it all. Meanwhile, people online and even the local newspaper praised the mysterious vigilante who killed the child trafficker who'd been hiding under their noses for all that time.
It just frustrates me when I'm literally seeing shit spawning in front of me. It's like, did you not play this on an Xbox? I mean, I'm playing this on a Series X. I can only imagine what this is like on a basic Xbox One, you know?
Even though they didn't know who I was, they called me a hero. I had intended for Dawson to disappear without a trace so that people wouldn't even be sure that he was killed or not. But I have to admit, being praised by the general public as a hero was exhilarating. More than the satisfaction of carrying out a meticulous plan. Now all my hard work was being recognized and appreciated by others as well.
Is there any other in this room? Not seeing any.
For the first time in my life, I felt like a somebody. No longer a nameless, faceless man in the crowd. I had become the hero of the neighborhood, taking out the villains the police could not. But as the story of my perfectly justified crime faded from the public mind, so too did the elation I felt from it. I wanted to feel that way again. So when I killed Tony Holt, I did so in a way that nobody would ever forget.
Okay.
The connection between the death of Richard Dawson and Tony Holt wasn't lost on us.
I just noticed a mark on my screen.
Holt had been a frequent patron of Dawson's in addition to being a known sexual assaulter with a penchant for minors after all. People started suggesting that their killers might be one on the same the day we found Holt dead on his bed. But if it really was the same killer, then he must have given up all attempts at trying to hide the body. Either way, we all had at least one vigilante on our hands. Some of my coworkers wondered if we should even try to apprehend him. That would be enough for some disciplinary action, but I didn't report them.
Excuse me? Really? I crashed into the glass of the door. I didn't even notice it, because the glass is transparent. Yes, Dwaggy, most glass is transparent, you stupid idiots.
We may be cops tasked with apprehending whoever the killer is, but before that we were also human beings, some of whom had families with kids the same age as the children Dawson and Holt abused. I really can't blame them for thinking that way. Deep down, I'm glad the killer did what he did too.
It's going to make me... You know, this would have been so much easier if there was a window that opened. But no, we have to go all the way back out. Also, that graphic on the water cooler's busted. That or they are drinking literal oil. Oh, Hang on, is that actually going by real time? Oh my god, that clock is actually going by real time. So you code in a real time clock. Yeah, 10:31. It literally, they code in a real time clock, but they don't code in textures working. Okay. In case you didn't guess, I'm actually playing this at 10:31 in the morning AM.
I know that the law is necessary to maintain a society that won't collapse on itself. But at the same time, I can't ignore the fact that people like Holt and Dawson do slip through the cracks of our system and ruin the lives of good law-abiding citizens. It's not right, but it's the truth. I couldn't blame someone for wanting to fix those injustices, even if it meant going against what the law dictated was right. Still, I had a duty to fulfill. I love my little sister Natalie more than anyone else in the world, but I could no longer have her slowing me down, now that the public will be watching as I cleanse the city of its filth. I left her with my mother, and moved out of the house using money I'd saved up over the years. Seeing her crying face plead for me to stay was the only thing that made me contemplate stopping my work. But I held strong. This was as much for her sake as it was mine. I was going to make this city a better place for her. We managed to track the killer to a family apartment downtown. He was clever, that much was obvious, but in his attempt to strike again while the iron was hot, he got sloppy with his methods. A homeless man who lived in an alley near Tony Holt's apartment spotted a strange young man nearby the day of the murder. It only took a bribe of the cheapest whiskey from the local liquor store to get him to talk. The homeless man knew about Holt's reputation as a violent man, and had settled down in an alley nearby because of it.
No, that's not the orb, that's the bloody lamppost. See, in situations like this, it would really help if we actually had some sort of distance marker. Like, just saying how far away we are from what we're looking for. Really would. Just saying. Yeah, the game does not like us flying high to try and find shit. Seriously, distance marker would so help. It would really help, game. It should be relatively easy to code as well. Basically,
His shoddy reasoning was that
XYZ
nobody would dare
coordinate
come
of
around to stir trouble knowing that a guy like
freaking
that was around.
where you are, the XYZ coordinate of where it needs you to go. Literally work out the distance. It's literally that.
When I asked him what kept Holt from pummeling him himself,
coding.
he just laughed
really
and said
would.
that he was too much of a nobody for Holt to even notice him. Which, yeah, fair. I was actively looking for possible witnesses in the area and only managed to find him out of pure luck when he startled me by sneezing right behind me. We asked him for details on the suspect, and he gave us a detailed description of him. He looked young, barely past high school age, so we assumed that he must either be a new graduate or a dropout.
back to my point I made earlier, distance marker, especially on these late levels, would be a godsend. Especially
After
when
that, it was only a matter of looking through the
going
records of
behind
schools
you.
for people who matched the description and asking the homeless man to point him out. After a lot of trial and error, we found him. He was the son of a known drug dealer who'd been killed by a rival gang member. Said gang member then mysteriously went missing without a trace, though at the time it was assumed to be a hit from a rival gang. Knowing what we know now, that gangbanger might have very well been the first victim in what was slowly becoming a string of vigilante murders. Natalie called me not so long ago telling me that the police had come searching for me. It seems I've been careless with my latest murder. Still, there was no point in panicking. Natalie, dutiful sister as she was, didn't tell them anything about me, no matter how much they prodded. She was panicking in tears by the time she called. I told her that everything was going to be fine.
Let's see. I remember in Murder Stories 1 when I went around it, yeah, it clips out it clips out the graphic as you're going down the stairs. They didn't fix that.
I lied. At first, I'd planned on moving to a cheap apartment in the city, but that won't be an option anymore. No doubt the police will look through any paperwork I signed and trace me to that apartment. I immediately packed up all my things and left for the forest just off the edge of my neighborhood.
Oh, for fuck's sake, it's not hitting anything, you stupid fucking game.
I knew from my past research that an abandoned house lay there, built and forgotten by a rich man who had died a long time ago without leaving it to anyone. Breaking in should be easy, and it would serve as a new base away from prying eyes. I don't expect this to last forever. Sooner or later, the police will get their act together and find out where I am, either because of a mistake I'll make, or through searching everywhere in the city, including this forest.
Check that bathroom, did I? Let's check the bathroom before I get out of it. Good thing I did.
But before that happens, I will leave my mark in this city, in blood. No matter what the police say, I'm already a hero for the common people oppressed by the gangs and thugs that abuse them. Even if the police kill me during my last stand against them, it will only make me become a martyr for everyone whose lives I've improved with my murders. I may have been born into this world as a nobody, but I will leave it as a nightmare for those who abuse their power, and a tragic hero for those who are victims to them.
Stop the clock. Okay, to summarise. Music, great. And narrator, great. Engine, definitely not great. It shouldn't be spawning stuff in front of us. Controls, also not great. You don't need all three of your things, both sticks and the D-pad, as directionals. You don't need that. You really don't. Needs one for a camera rotation. Again, I've said it before with EPXR games of this type. The engine that you're using to bring the 3D objects into the levels is either faulty or it's not up to the job that you're trying to make it do. Because stuff should not be spawning in front of us. With the player character being this little flying, glowing bat thing, it should be able to fly through things that are clearly gaps in objects, like the beds, or the banister, or the table, or that wooden partition where I tried to fly under it, where there was clearly a gap. So before putting objects into the game, please make sure that they don't actually have any collision detection on spaces where they're not supposed to have any, because there's nothing to fly into. That'd be awesome. Other than that though, 6.5. The controls let it down. The spawning of objects in front of us lets it down. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you EPXR Games for the points, for the code for the point of this video. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.